Hey, Brandon, I got a couple for you. First off, congrats on the special teams honor.
Thank you.
And I was wondering if getting the contract squared away, before the season started, did that in any way put, take more off your shoulders or anything like that? Is that helped you in any way, physically or mentally?
No. If you could recall, if you go back to my season, the season's not even close to being over yet, obviously. But if you go back and look at my season after I signed the extension last time, I was terrible. I missed a couple of easy kicks. So I don't think it has anything to do with the relief or the stress. It's such a black and white position. Obviously, as you know, you make or miss kicks, and I've just been fortunate on every time I go step on the field. Obviously, I have the utmost confidence in myself to make the kick. Sometimes it doesn't go that way. Sometimes it does. So definitely, this season so far, just especially in the longer ones, like I said, I've been trying to do better at just staying more relaxed out there rather than being kind of excited to kick them and then getting too fast. So just kind of be a little more relaxed out there.
Right. And then secondly, I know you're a big, union guy as far as, working with the league and everybody on these COVID-19 protocols and everything. And I'm wondering, from a guy like you, what do you think when you look across the league and some of these, spotted cases or outbreaks, are not necessarily the players that have kind of run afoul of these safety measures, but, coaches and personnel, non-football playing. What do you think as a player when you see that happening?
Yeah, obviously it's tough, and that's something we fought for when we kind of agreed to these COVID protocols, where not just players receiving financial discipline or suspension in a certain thing. Everyone from coaching to staff members, anybody in our building, if they were to be at fault, obviously there's an investigation into all those situations that would come down with some type of discipline. So that was big for us to make sure that, hey, if us players are asked to do all these things, that everyone in the building should have to do them as well, because they could infect us and really ruin the season as well. So obviously the Titans situation is interesting. I think the one coach didn't travel to Minnesota because I guess he tested positive on Thursday or Friday or something. And, who knows, I guess, how he got it. Obviously it could be from his family or just unfortunately getting it. So I can really point fingers that it's because there's a lot of staff members in Tennessee that have gotten it. But that's why, we wanted to implement these, harsh disciplines, like I said, for everyone. And then they just have to go through an investigation period, which has kind of really been heightened with these new protocols. We have a call tonight, but, some of the things that I've read, they're going to really harp on these teams and everything and potentially discipline with draft picks or money. So.
Next one, Brandon Christoph.
Then knowing young players and just, I guess, everybody, whether they're players or personnel or otherwise, are you confident that the new protocols will help, or do you think that we're going to continue to go through this kind of week after week or every couple of weeks just because it's human nature?
Yeah, I think the protocols will just kind of bring more enlightenment and kind of highlight it back to when we were when the training camp started. Obviously, we were all here for 14 hours a day or 12 hours a day. So it's definitely different in that sense. But kind of just rehashing and seeing all these positive tests and kind of talking to the players. And each team is kind of driven home that, obviously if we're not playing, nobody's getting paid and this and that. So continuing to harp on the guys that, it is important that, and I do think that there's going to be more, hopefully they're not outbreaks. Hopefully that, I do think that there will be more positive tests still down the road. It's just we have to have the proper things to make sure that it's really, nipped in the butt right there, right away. So, even if it's star players that, we're like super close contact and they have to sit out a game to kind of prevent an outbreak, that could be down the line. But, hopefully we'll see here with New England what's going to happen, kind of with the incubation period. So, we're going to see here shortly.
Next one, Eric Delala.
Brandon, going back to those long kicks for a second, you talked about your desire to be more consistent there, and I think you're 3 for 4 with that 58-yarder, the only miss. You mentioned mentally, but is there anything mechanically that you've changed, or why do you think you're finding more success there?
No, once the only mechanical change I ever made was after 2014 into the 2015 season. I think I talked about last time, removing that jab step and just going to a complete two-step kicker. Other than that, like I said, I haven't changed much. I definitely harp on Tom and Vic to give me a lot more practice kicks and practice over 50. Because on Wednesdays usually we kick in the middle of throughout the whole practice, really, kind of like more of like a game-like situation. And a lot of times I'm kicking in the 40s and 30s range because of where we're working in the red zone or high red zone. So I asked them, hey, even if we're there, see if you could kind of back it up and give me 50-yard attempts, just to continue to work on them and make sure, even though mentally I'm going into the kicking it the same way as an extra point, maybe physically I wasn't doing it, kind of subconsciously wasn't doing it, and that's why I might have been missing. So just continue to get those reps, in kind of a live situation in practice. And then, like I said, just being out there calmer, not getting excited to kick all these 50 yards, because obviously over the past bunch of years, I've probably attempted the most. So just making sure that, I'm going out there, more comfortable and not too excited, a little more, relaxed.
Go ahead, Troy.
Brandon, you're a dad. You've seen one of your good friends, Vaughn, get COVID. Are you comfortable going to New England? And would players have a voice? You're the rep. Could players have a voice and say, we're not comfortable? How would that happen? Do guys come to you, or what is that kind of protocol if guys start to get concerned if there's more, positive tests?
Yeah, no, me personally, I can't speak for them, but me personally, I'm comfortable with traveling and going there. I've seen the protocols, they've worked obviously in the past, and, it will continue to work as long as we have compliance with them. That's, one of the biggest things is making sure that, like I said, we're harping on these guys. Obviously if they're hanging out with certain people all the time and they continue to, be okay, then that's fine. But don't want to be hanging with outside people or new people, and, kind of just watching, making sure that the people you are hanging out with a lot, making sure that you let them know that, hey, make sure you let me know if you, been hanging with other people or might be sick. So, harping upon that. It's not just the people that they might come direct contact with. It's their friends that, they're seeing every day or at times. And then, you actually just asked this question today about, if we as a team decided, or players, that it wasn't safe, we didn't want to go because it wasn't safe. And we wouldn't be able to do that, really. It's not legal in our contracts to do that. Now, there's a way that you could kind of get away with it, but you could kind of go about it, would be that you'd have to show that you have to prove, legally, really, in the court almost, that there was negligence on the Patriots or negligence on the Broncos with the way we traveled or this and that, to put people at risk. Because with the safety protocols that are in, obviously they've been tested and true by all the doctors and the highest health professionals. The court's obviously going to agree with the protocols we put in are safe enough to play. So if we as players decide we don't want to go because we don't think it's safe, we would have a huge uphill battle against that.
Guys, time for a few more. Next one, Mike Kliss.
Yeah, Brandon, I got one for each of the hats that you wear there. First, the rep hat. Were you in touch with union leaders today in light of New England? And did a lot of players come up to you and say, hey, Brandon, what's going on? And then I'll follow up.
Yeah, no, that's why I just, with answering Troy's question there, I literally called him this morning just thinking about what happens if, it's just trying to think like Troy did there about if the players decided, hey, they don't want to play, not just our team, any team, didn't want to play in the game, where would we stand with that? So I talked with Don Davis over at the union this morning. And then, so it's like I said, we're really kind of waiting in the incubation period, because it's really about 3 to 5 days where somebody, after being exposed, will test positive, one is able to shed to other people. So that's the key, is obviously when the 3 to 5 days come in, we get the positive result, and then we're able to kind of keep him away from everybody before he's able to spread it, because those first couple of days he's not going to spread it. And then I've had a bountiful amount of questions, yes, when I came in from the other players, thinking about what's going to happen this season. I'm not a clairvoyant or anything like that to predict it. Obviously, I'm an optimist and hope that we're able to continue to we've done a fantastic job here in Denver, obviously with everything going on, and I hope all these guys continue to do that. And as long as we have a betterment of doing that, I think we have a chance to succeed for this season.
And then the other question on your kicking, it seemed like you went to a different level after you got mad at Vic last year. Did anything click mentally for you after that? Because you did start becoming, you were good before, but you went to, where you were nailing them most of the time and from far out. Yeah,
and it's not just Vic. I actually had a lot of tiffs with Gary Kubiak as well. I think he might be able to tell you if you ever talk with him. A lot of issues with some of his stuff too. And I think there's a lot of positive things that come out of playing angry and kind of mad. Obviously, I think a lot of players in all the sports across the world can agree with that you have a sense of, you are pissed off to yourself that, you believe in yourself in such a way that I guess you have to reprove it again, I guess, in that sense. But, I know that I wanted to attempt that kick, as we all know, and then I just got to continue to make everything underneath that to make sure that he gives me that opportunity. And but I think, obviously playing pissed off at times is definitely beneficial, and you'll never have a sense of complacency if you're always mad and want to be able to prove people that you're able to do something.
Final one, Kyle.
So Brandon, speaking of attempting a would-be record kick, I know in the offseason you said you had a partnership with Bud Light. If you got the record, I said take it that's still on. And then do you feel like you're pretty primed if that opportunity comes up, considering you've been hitting from 50 yards out, so far this season?
Yeah, so we did the deal. The original kind of deal was if I broke the record, and then our old buddy Matt Prater chimed in, and he kind of asked Bud Light the same thing. If he broke his own record, what would happen? So Bud Light actually scratched the NFL record. I'm sure they would still do it if I broke the NFL record. But now the deal is with Bud Light for a free beer for everyone 21 and older in Denver. Whoever has the longest field goal between Matt and I on the season gets the free beer. So currently we're in the lead. Hopefully Denver gets to enjoy that. Obviously we'll celebrate with everyone as well.